Good evening, and welcome to The Sleepy Scholar. This evening, we are journeying into the enchanting realm of dreams. Each night, as you float away into sleep, a remarkable process begins. Your conscious thoughts unravel, your connection to the senses dims, and an entirely new reality starts to take shape. Scenes materialize without any conscious effort. People from your life appear, and entire stories are woven from what seems to be thin air. Dreams can often feel like a riddle, a reflection, or a voyage. They hold echoes of our memories, sparks of our imagination, and the quiet resonance of our feelings. Sometimes they grant us the gift of flight. Other times, they leave us mystified by their profound strangeness. And often, they evaporate so swiftly upon waking that we are left to question if they truly happened at all. If you find comfort in quiet journeys like this one, feel free to like, subscribe, or share a peaceful thought below. It helps other restful minds find this sanctuary too. But for this moment, all that matters is letting the day's concerns dissolve. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let a sense of wonder carry you towards sleep. Let us begin. The true function of dreaming remains one of science's greatest unsolved questions. We understand much about the stages of sleep, the rhythms of the brain, and the chemical tides, but the fundamental reasons for dreaming is not yet settled. Some scientists propose that dreams are the brain's way of consolidating memories, effectively saving the important data from our day. Others theorize that dreams are a safe space for processing our feelings, allowing us to replay difficult moments in a low-stakes environment so we feel more balanced when awake. There are also hypotheses that dreams function as rehearsals for potential dangers, or even as training grounds for complex social scenarios. And finally, there is the idea that dreams are engines of creativity, fusing disparate fragments of memory into something entirely original. It is highly possible that all of these theories are correct, with different functions taking priority based on our age, stress levels, or current circumstances. What is clear is that dreaming is far from random. It is a glimpse into the brain's essential nightly maintenance, even if its ultimate purpose remains shrouded in mystery. Scientists have achieved two-way communication with lucid dreamers. It seems beyond belief, but researchers have successfully communicated with individuals who are deep in sleep and aware they are dreaming. Volunteers first trained in lucid dreaming, the state of knowing you are dreaming as it occurs. Before sleeping, they agreed on a simple signal, moving their eyes in a specific left-right pattern to indicate lucidity. Once they achieved this state, they sent the signal. Researchers then pose questions using quiet sounds or gentle touches. The dreamers answered by repeating the eye movements or with minute facial twitches. In some studies, they even solved simple math problems or answered yes/no questions, all while remaining in the dream state. The dialogue was rudimentary, more like exchanging signals than a full conversation. But it proved a profound concept. The dreaming brain is not entirely isolated from the external world. Awareness can persist within a dream, and information can be exchanged in real time. The scent of roses can make a nightmare gentler. Our sense of smell is unique. Unlike our other senses, it has a direct pathway to the brain's emotional and memory centers. Scientists have found that this pathway stays active during sleep. In one study, participants were exposed to the smell of roses while having a positive waking experience. Later, that same fragrance was released while they slept. The outcome was remarkable. When a nightmare occurred, the rose scent seemed to soften its emotional edge. Feelings of fear were lessened, and the dream's overall tone often shifted towards something calmer. The participants did not necessarily dream about roses. Instead, the aroma quietly adjusted the dream's emotional climate. This finding is more than a curiosity. It suggests that gentle sensory cues could potentially be used to lessen the impact of recurring nightmares, giving the mind a subtle nudge toward comfort. A sound played during sleep can strengthen one chosen memory. The brain is not dormant at night, it is actively sorting and processing the memories of the day. Researchers have discovered a method to guide this process. In one study, people learn new information before sleep, such as the location of objects on a grid. Each object was paired with a specific, quiet sound, like a single musical note. Later, while the person was in deep sleep, the scientists replayed just one of those sounds. Without waking the participant, the brain registered the cue and reactivated the associated memory network. In the morning, the items linked to that specific sound were remembered significantly better than the others. This is known as targeted memory reactivation. It does not create new memories, but it reinforces the neural pathways that were already formed. The effect demonstrates just how responsive the sleeping mind is. With the right gentle cues, we can influence what is retained, hinting at new methods to enhance learning simply by resting. A wearable device can suggest a dream theme and boost creativity. Dream incubation, the idea of planting a seed for a dream, is no longer just an ancient ritual. Modern devices can now gently guide dreams during the transitional moments just before deep sleep. As a person relaxes, sensors in a comfortable wearable monitor shifts in their body. At the precise moment they enter the hypnagogic state, the device might softly play a pre-selected word like forest or journey. This cue slips into the mind during a phase known as hypnagogia, where brief, dreamlike images naturally occur. If the sleeper responds, the device might prompt them for a brief description, then encourage them to drift back to sleep. In the morning, users often report dream fragments related to the theme, filled with unusual and creative imagery. Studies suggest these guided microdreams can enhance creative thinking, as if the brain was nudged to explore novel connections overnight. In lucid dreams, people have solved problems and signaled the answers. Lucid dreaming is the state of realizing you are dreaming while the dream continues. In this state, some individuals can consciously direct their focus and even manipulate the dream's narrative. In sleep laboratories, scientists have tested whether lucid dreamers can perform cognitive tasks. Before sleep, they are given a simple problem, like a math question. Once they become lucid, the dreamer carries out the task within the dream and then signals the answer by moving their eyes in a predetermined pattern. The results show that people can, in fact, think deliberately while dreaming. These imagined actions also activate the brain's motor regions, just as real movements would. Outside the lab, lucid dreamers have reported artistic breakthroughs, composing music or solving complex problems. Control is rarely total, but the ability to think with awareness in a dream provides a unique mental space where imagination feels tangible. Acting out dreams can be an early sign of Parkinson's. Under normal circumstances, sleep induces a state of muscle paralysis, which keeps our dreams safely confined to our minds. In a condition known as REM sleep behavior disorder, this protective mechanism fails. Individuals with this disorder may shout, thrash, or even jump out of bed while they are dreaming. This can be hazardous, and doctors often recommend safety-proofing the bedroom or prescribe medication to calm the activity. What makes this disorder particularly noteworthy is its strong association with long-term neurological health. Research has shown that a significant percentage of people with this disorder later go on to develop Parkinson's disease or related neurodegenerative conditions, often many years in the future. It does not guarantee it, but it stands as one of the most reliable early indicators of these changes. For physicians, it offers a critical early window to monitor brain health. What appears to be just an unusual sleep pattern can sometimes be the very first sign of deeper changes. AI can sketch rough dream images from brain scans. Recent experiments have demonstrated that the content of our dreams leaves distinct, decodable patterns in our brain activity. Researchers first scan a volunteer's brain while they look at various images. An artificial intelligence system then learns to map specific brain activity patterns to features in those pictures, such as shapes, textures, or objects. Later, when the person is asleep and dreaming, their brain shows similar patterns of activity. The AI uses these sleeping brain signals to generate a rough reconstruction of what the person might be seeing in their dream. The resulting images are still blurry and abstract, but they often match the general category: a person, a vehicle, an animal. This technology is in its infancy, but it proves that dreams are not just subjective feelings, they have measurable, visual footprints in the brain. People born blind dream in sound, touch, and smell. Dreams are not an exclusively visual experience. Individuals who have been blind since birth still experience rich and complex dreams, but theirs unfold through the other senses they use to navigate the world. Instead of seeing a scene, they might hear conversations and environmental sounds that define the space. They may feel the texture of objects, the vibration of a floor, or the distinct warmth of the sun. Smells can be central to the plot, defining a location or a person. These non-visual dreams can be just as intricate and emotionally powerful as visual ones. People who lose their sight later in life often report that their dreams remain visual for many years, though they may gradually begin to emphasize sound and touch more over time. This shows that dreaming is a fundamental process of the brain, building immersive worlds from whatever sensory information it has. Your brain paralyzes you during REM sleep. During the dreaming phase of sleep, the brain activates a system that causes temporary paralysis in most of the body's voluntary muscles. This is a vital protective measure, preventing us from physically enacting our dreams. However, this system can sometimes glitch. You might find yourself waking up, mentally aware, but your body is still in this state of atonia. You can typically breathe and move your eyes, but your limbs feel completely immobilized. Many people also report strong hallucinations during this time, such as hearing sounds, feeling a weight on their chest, or sensing a presence in the room. This is known as sleep paralysis. It generally lasts only for a minute or two and is not physically harmful, but the combination of paralysis and hallucinations can be deeply frightening. Knowing what it is often helps reduce the panic. It is simply a brief moment of asynchrony between the mind and body. Dreaming also happens in NREM, not just REM. For many years, it was believed that dreams occurred only during REM, rapid eye movement sleep, the stage known for its high brain activity and surreal stories. However, when researchers gently wake people from other sleep stages, particularly the lighter NREM stages, they frequently report having dream-like thoughts or scenes. These NREM dreams are typically different from REM dreams. They are often less bizarre, more logical, and more closely related to everyday life, concerns, or problem-solving. In the deepest stages of NREM sleep, dream reports are less common, but they can still occur. As the night progresses, NREM dreams can become more story-like and vivid as the brain begins to blend memory fragments. This discovery shifted our understanding of sleep. Dreaming may not be an isolated event, but rather a continuous spectrum of consciousness that changes its flavor depending on which brain networks are active. A posterior hot zone predicts when a dream is happening. Dreaming was once thought to be impossible to track objectively, but researchers using high-density brain recordings, EEG, to monitor sleeping individuals found a reliable pattern. They identified a key area of activity in the back of the brain, in regions that handle visual processing, spatial awareness, and self-perception. When this posterior hot zone lights up with high-frequency activity, a person is highly likely to report a vivid dream if awakened. When this area is quiet, even if the person is technically in REM sleep, they often report no dream experience at all. This helps explain why dreams can happen outside of REM. It seems to be less about the stage of sleep and more about whether this specific hot zone is activated. This is one of the clearest biological signatures of dreaming ever found, allowing scientists to see when the brain is constructing its inner world. Emotional centers stay active while logic quiets down. When you are dreaming, your brain does not simply power down, it reallocates its resources. Brain imaging studies show that regions linked to emotion, like the amygdala and hippocampus, remain intensely active. Meanwhile, the areas of the prefrontal cortex responsible for rational thought, impulse control, and logical reasoning become much quieter. This imbalance explains the very nature of dreams, why they feel so emotionally potent, yet are often completely illogical. We accept profound contradictions, sudden changes of scenery, or impossible physics without a second thought. The emotional engine is running, but the logical editor is offline. In lucid dreams, it is believed that some of these frontal regions reactivate, which is what allows the dreamer to recognize the inconsistency. This nightly shift may serve an important purpose, allowing the brain to explore feelings and memories without the constraints of rigid logic. PGO waves ripple as vivid imagery builds. In studies on animals, researchers have identified sharp, brief bursts of electrical activity that travel through the brainstem and visual processing areas during REM sleep. These are called PGO waves. They often occur just before the rapid eye movements that give REM sleep its name. Many scientists believe these waves are the internal signals that help generate the vivid, visual content of our dreams. PGO waves might act like the brain's scene change cue, triggering a new image or a shift in the dream's location. They could also be involved in strengthening memories, as they happen in sync with activity in emotional and memory centers. In humans, measuring these waves is more difficult, but similar patterns have been detected. While we cannot yet watch a dream like a movie, PGO waves provide a clue to the underlying rhythm that drives the brain's internal light show. Acetylcholine rises as norepinephrine and serotonin dip. Each sleep stage has a unique chemical profile. REM sleep is particularly distinct. During this phase, levels of the neurotransmitter acetylcholine increase significantly. Acetylcholine helps support the high-frequency brain activity that creates vivid, immersive dream worlds. At the exact same time, levels of norepinephrine and serotonin, two chemicals crucial for alertness, focus, and mood stabilization, drop to almost zero. This specific chemical cocktail is what makes dreams feel so different from waking reality. The brain is highly active due to acetylcholine, but lacks its usual systems for logical grounding and vigilance due to the drop in serotonin and norepinephrine. This allows for the bizarre associations and fluid narratives that define our dreams. This chemical shift is not random, it is believed to be essential for processing emotions and consolidating memories. The brain's inner critic relaxes, letting stories bend physics. In your waking life, a part of your brain, largely in the prefrontal cortex, is constantly monitoring your reality. It catches errors, enforces the rules of logic, and helps you make rational decisions. During REM sleep, this network becomes much less active. Without this inner critic looking over its shoulder, the dreaming mind no longer questions inconsistencies. This is why you can dream that you are breathing underwater or talking to a historical figure, and your mind simply accepts it as reality. The brain is still telling a coherent story, but the boundaries of that story are infinitely flexible. This temporary suspension of the rules may be functional, It allows the mind to explore creative solutions, test novel scenarios, and break free from rigid thinking patterns. Dreams might bend the laws of physics to help us think more flexibly when we are awake. Day residue shows up in dreams with a quirky delay. The events of our daily lives clearly leave an imprint on our dreams. Experiences from the day often appear in our dreams that very same night. This is known as day residue. But researchers have also identified a second, stranger pattern. Many of these same experiences often reappear in our dreams after a delay of about 5 to 7 days. This dream lag effect suggests a two-stage process for memory. It is as if the brain first quickly stabilizes a new memory and then revisits it a week later to integrate it more deeply into our long-term knowledge. When these memories return, they are rarely exact replays. Instead, fragments of the experience. A place, a sound, a feeling are remixed with other memories into entirely new and creative narratives. Threat simulations often play out safely in dreams. A very common theme in dreams is being in danger, being chased, feeling trapped, or facing a threat. Some psychologists believe this serves an evolutionary purpose, known as threat simulation theory. The idea is that the brain rehearses these dangerous scenarios in the safe, simulated environment of a dream, allowing us to practice our responses without any real-world risk. Studies that compare dream content to waking life confirm that threatening situations are significantly more common in our dreams than in our actual lives. These dreams often end in escape or resolution rather than in actual harm. People who have faced real-world stress often report even more of these dreams, suggesting the brain is actively working to process the experience. While not all nightmares are beneficial, especially in cases of trauma, the high frequency of these themes suggests dreams may be a kind of internal training ground, preparing us for waking challenges. Social worlds get rehearsed at night like practice runs. Our dreams are often full of other people. Most of the characters we encounter in our dreams are not strangers, but are instead familiar, family, friends, or colleagues. Researchers have proposed the social simulation hypothesis to explain this. The theory is that dreams provide a space to practice and navigate our complex social relationships. In our dreams, we argue, we reconcile, we cooperate, and we feel empathy, all within imagined scenarios. Studies of dream reports show they are rich with social interactions, often more so than our typical waking days. The brain regions involved in theory of mind, understanding the intentions and emotions of others, remain active during REM sleep. This may help us explore different social outcomes and ease real-world social anxieties. Dreams, in this sense, give us a nightly stage to rehearse the connections that define our lives. Dreams remix fragments of life into entirely new scenes. When we recall our dreams, the content is almost never a perfect replay of a real event. Instead, dreams are masters of collage. They take pieces from different memories, times, and places and weave them into something completely original. You might dream of being in your childhood home, but it's merged with your current office and you are there with a friend you haven't seen in years. Neuroscience suggests this happens because the hippocampus, our memory center, reactivates memory fragments during sleep, and the cortex then stitches them together into new creative patterns. This process might be how we extract general rules or find deeper meaning from our specific experiences. It also likely fuels creativity, allowing the brain to try out combinations it would never consider in logical, waking thought. Dreams may look chaotic, but their remix quality might be precisely what helps us learn, adapt, and innovate. Hypnagogic flashes bloom right as you fall asleep. As you drift from wakefulness into sleep, you pass through a brief, delicate stage called hypnagogia. It may only last for a few minutes, but in this state, the brain can produce sudden, fleeting bursts of imagery, sound, or sensation. You might see swirling geometric patterns, flashes of color, or vivid, fragmented faces that appear and vanish. Some people experience a hypnic jerk, a sudden jolt or feeling of falling that snaps them awake. Others might hear brief sounds or fragments of voices. These experiences occur as the brain's electrical patterns begin to slow down and our grip on reality loosens. They are not yet full dreams, but they are the building blocks. This state is highly suggestible, and many artists and inventors have famously used it to catch creative ideas as they surface on the very edge of consciousness. Hypnopompic echoes linger as you wake up. The transition out of sleep can be just as strange as the transition into it. As your brain begins to reactivate its waking systems, dream imagery does not always disappear instantly. Instead, fragments of the dream can linger in a state called hypnopompia. You might wake up but still hear a voice fading, see a face hovering in the room, or watch a dream scene slowly dissolve. Sometimes these echoes can even blend with your real surroundings, creating a surreal overlap of the dream world and your bedroom. These experiences are most common when waking directly from REM sleep, when the brain's scene-building machinery is still highly active. For most people, they are brief and harmless, fading within moments. They simply reveal how fragile the border between our two worlds, dreaming and waking, truly is. Time inside dreams can stretch or compress strangely. Dreams have a famously elastic relationship with time. A dream that felt like it lasted for hours, filled with complex events and long conversations, may have taken place in only a few minutes of real REM sleep. Conversely, a dream that felt brief might have lasted longer. Experiments with lucid dreamers have helped measure this. When asked to count to 10 in their dream and signal the start and end with eye movements, most people's dream count took about the same amount of time as their waking count. This suggests that our basic sense of timing is intact. The feeling of time stretching likely comes from the way dreams edit reality. They skip the boring parts, jumping instantly between scenes, which compresses a lot of action into a short period. Emotional intensity can also make moments feel longer, just as it does in waking life. External sounds weave themselves into the plotline. Even when you are deeply asleep, your hearing is never completely turned off. The brain filters out most background noise, but certain sounds can still get through. Instead of waking you up, the brain will often incorporate these sounds directly into the dream's narrative. A door slamming in the hallway might become a clap of thunder in the dream. A dog barking outside might be reinterpreted as an animal within the dream story. Researchers use this effect deliberately, playing specific sounds to sleeping participants to reactivate memories. These external cues are absorbed seamlessly, especially during REM sleep when the brain is highly active but less critical. This shows that the dreaming mind is not a sealed-off chamber. It is an active construction, constantly balancing its internal world with signals from the outside. Light flashes can appear as lightning or camera flashes. Your eyes are closed during sleep, but a strong enough light can still penetrate your eyelids and reach the retina. When this happens during a dream, the brain often scrambles to provide an explanation. A sudden flash of light, perhaps from a passing car's headlights, might be instantly written into the dream script as a bolt of lightning, a camera's flash, or a sudden explosion. Scientists have tested this by shining gentle lights on sleeping volunteers. Many of them later reported dreams that included these bright flashes, perfectly integrated into the story. A light that is too bright or lasts too long will simply wake the sleeper, but subtle flashes are often woven in. This demonstrates the brain's powerful commitment to maintaining the illusion of the dream, explaining away any external interference. Your own name still cuts through from the outside. Of all the sounds that might occur while you sleep, your own name is special. Studies have shown that hearing your name spoken aloud triggers a much stronger brain response than hearing other random words, even when you are fully asleep. This special signal can be woven directly into a dream. People often report dreaming that someone was calling their name, only to wake up and realize someone in the house actually was. The brain seems to be hardwired to treat this particular cue as high priority, keeping a sliver of attention reserved for it. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes perfect sense, as being able to rouse to a personal call could be critical. For us, it highlights that sleep is not a total disconnection, but a selective one. Pain shows up less often and often feels muted. Despite the frequency of nightmares involving fear or anxiety, the actual sensation of physical pain is surprisingly rare in dreams. When it does appear, dreamers often describe it as feeling different from real pain, more dull, muted, or symbolic. People who live with chronic pain may report its presence in their dreams, but even then, it often transforms into other sensations. Scientists propose a few reasons for this. During sleep, the brainstem actively dampens incoming sensory signals, and the brain's own pain signaling pathways are less active. At the same time, the brain's focus is on emotion and imagery, not on monitoring the body's physical state. This might be why so many dreams revolve around fear and pursuit rather than physical injury. Understanding this helps clinicians, as a report of true pain during sleep can be a clue to an underlying physical issue. Tastes and smells appear rarely, but still shape emotion. Most dreamers report that taste and smell are almost never a central part of their dreams. When these senses do appear, they are usually simple and fleeting, the taste of something sweet or the vague scent of smoke. However, even when we don't consciously notice them, these senses, especially smell, can quietly influence the emotional tone of a dream. Smell has a very direct link to the brain's emotion and memory centers. Experiments have shown that piping a pleasant scent into a room during REM sleep can lead to calmer, more positive dreams, while a bad smell can darken the mood, even if the dreamer never dreams about the smell itself. Most dreams are in color, despite old black and white reports. Modern dream research consistently finds that the vast majority of people dream in full color. Earlier studies, particularly from the mid-20th century, often reported that dreams were in black and white. Scientists now believe this discrepancy was not biological, but cultural. People who grew up in an era dominated by black and white television and film were more likely to recall and describe their dreams in those terms. As color media became the norm, so did reports of color in dreams. Today, most people report color dreams. Though the colors are not always vivid, sometimes they are muted or only one object stands out. This finding is a powerful reminder that our dreams are not just a product of our biology, but are also shaped by the media and culture we consume. Eye movements sometimes mirror where dreamers look. The rapid eye movements that define REM sleep are not always random. In many cases, they appear to be scanning hypothesis, which suggests the dreamer's eyes are moving to look at the imagined sights within the dream world. This has been tested with lucid dreamers. They are asked before sleep to signal when they are in a dream by moving their eyes in a specific pattern, e.g. left, right, left, right. They can do this successfully. Following a moving object in a dream, like watching a tennis ball, can produce the same smooth pursuit eye movements as in waking life. Not every single eye movement maps to dream content, but enough do that scientists can use them as markers, linking a specific action in the dream to a measurable physical signal. The motor cortex activates for actions your body doesn't make. When you dream that you are running, painting, or playing the piano, your body's muscles are paralyzed. But inside your brain, the motor cortex, the region that plans and controls physical movements, is highly active. Brain scans show that dreaming about an action lights up the very same neural circuits you would use to perform that action while awake. This is likely related to memory consolidation. Musicians often dream of playing, and athletes dream of their sport. Even people learning a new video game frequently report seeing the game in their dreams. The body is kept still by sleep paralysis, but the mental rehearsal seems to strengthen the neural pathways for that skill. It suggests that dreams may serve as a kind of natural simulator, allowing us to practice and refine motor skills even while we are fast asleep. Tiny twitches leak through the paralysis as fragments of motion. Sleep paralysis is mostly effective, but it is not perfect. Small muscle movements or twitches often leak through. A finger might jerk, a foot might kick, or the lips might move. For a long time, these were thought to be random, but new research suggests they may be the physical echo of actions happening in the dream. A dream about speaking might be accompanied by tiny, subtle movements in the vocal cords. A dream of running might produce small twitches in the legs. In animals like dogs, these twitches are much more obvious, and scientists believe they are bursts of motor commands from the brain that slip past the paralysis mechanism. These tiny, harmless movements are fragments of the dream world becoming visible, like sparks from a hidden process. Nightmare frequency rises with stress, then often falls when stress eases. Nightmares are not just random scary stories, they are often a reflection of our waking lives. When people are experiencing high levels of stress from work, relationships, or loss, the frequency of nightmares tends to increase. The themes of these nightmares often mirror the waking anxieties, though usually in a symbolic or exaggerated form. Interestingly, as the real-world stressor is resolved or fades, the nightmares often decrease in frequency as well. This suggests that dreams may be part of the brain's attempt to process and work through the emotional load. While persistent nightmares can be distressing, this pattern suggests they may have a function to rehearse responses, diffuse emotional intensity, or simply signal to us that something in our life feels unresolved and needs attention. Nightmares can be treated without medication in many cases. Although nightmares can be deeply distressing, especially when recurrent, they can often be treated effectively with non-medical therapies. One of the most common and successful methods is called imagery rehearsal therapy, IRT. In this approach, the person recalls the recurring nightmare while awake, but then consciously rewrites the ending to be something neutral or positive. They then rehearse this new version in their mind several times a day. Over time, the brain often adopts this new script, and the nightmare either fades or is replaced by the new, safer version. Other strategies involve stress reduction techniques and maintaining a calm, regular bedtime routine. These behavioral approaches show that our relationship with our dreams is not fixed. We can actively work to change their patterns. Imagery rehearsal therapy lets you rewrite a nightmare's ending. This is one of the most well-studied and effective treatments for chronic nightmares. The process begins with writing down the nightmare in detail. Then, while fully awake, you actively change the narrative. You can change any part of it, but the ending is most important. The monster might become small and harmless. The fall might turn into flying. The threat might simply dissolve. You then rehearse this new, reimagined dream in your mind for a few minutes each day. You are training your brain to expect a different outcome. When the nightmare begins to form again during sleep, it will often follow this new, rehearsed pathway, or at least lose its terrifying emotional power. It works by using waking imagination to give the dreaming brain an alternative, safer script to follow. Recurrent dreams often resolve when their waking trigger changes. Many people experience the same dream over and over, the classic unprepared for an exam dream, being chased or losing teeth. These dreams can persist for years. Researchers who study dream journals have made a striking observation. When the real-life situation or anxiety that the dream symbolizes is resolved, the dream often stops. The student who dreams of failing exams may stop having that dream after they graduate. A person who dreams of being lost may find the dream disappears after they make a major, confident life decision. The recurrence itself seems to be the brain's way of signaling that an emotional conflict or worry is still active and unresolved. Once the waking life issue changes, the dreamed job is done and it fades away. Sleep paralysis blends waking awareness with REM paralysis. Sleep paralysis is an experience that occurs on the boundary of sleep. It happens when the brain becomes conscious and wakes up, but the body's normal REM sleep paralysis has not yet worn off. The result is a state of being mentally awake but physically unable to move or speak. This is often accompanied by vivid and frightening hallucinations, such as sensing a presence in the room, hearing footsteps, or feeling a pressure on the chest because the brain is still partially in a dream state. Across history, this experience has been the source of myths about demons and night visitors. The episodes are typically brief, lasting from a few seconds to a couple of minutes, and are not physically dangerous. They are often linked to stress, irregular sleep schedules, or sleeping on one's back. Exploding head syndrome blasts imaginary booms at sleep onset. Despite its alarming name, exploding head syndrome is a harmless sensory phenomenon. A person experiences an extremely loud, sudden noise just as they are falling asleep or waking up. The sound is often described as a gunshot, a cymbal crash, or a loud bang, and is sometimes accompanied by a flash of light. There is no real external sound, the brain itself spontaneously generates the perception. Scientists believe it may be a brief glitch in the brainstem as the brain's auditory neurons shut down for sleep, firing all at once. The episode is over instantly but can be very startling. It is a strange but benign firework of the sleeping mind. False awakenings can stack into dream within a dream loops. A false awakening is the very convincing dream that you have woken up. People in a false awakening often dream of getting out of bed, walking to the bathroom, or starting their morning routine, only to then, actually, wake up and realize they are still in bed. Sometimes this can happen multiple times in a row, creating a disorienting dream within a dream loop. These experiences can be confusing, blurring the line between the dream world and the real one. For lucid dreamers, a false awakening can be a powerful cue that they are in fact still dreaming, giving them a chance to take control. Teeth falling out and flying are common across many cultures. If you ask a large group of people to describe a memorable dream, two themes will appear with striking frequency: flying and losing teeth. The dream of flying is often described as joyful and liberating. The dream of one's teeth falling out is almost always distressing and vivid. The fact that these specific dreams are reported by people all over the world, across different cultures, suggests they tap into deep, universal human anxieties or desires. Flying dreams might be a symbolic expression of freedom and power, or perhaps a mental interpretation of the body's weightlessness during REM paralysis. Teeth-falling dreams are often linked by psychologists to anxieties about appearance, communication, loss of control, or powerlessness in waking life. Dream recall varies hugely between people and can be trained. The ability to remember dreams differs immensely from person to person. Some individuals awaken each morning with rich, complex narratives, while others feel they hardly ever dream at all. Research indicates this variation isn't necessarily about the quantities of dreams, but rather about our waking patterns and how the brain handles memory during that transition. People who awaken more frequently during the night are more likely to recall dreams simply by catching them in progress. The encouraging news is that recall can be strengthened. The simple act of keeping a journal nearby, setting a conscious intention to remember, and pausing for a moment before rising can all make a significant difference. Over time, even someone who believes they don't dream can begin to capture these nightly experiences. Keeping a dream diary boosts recall within days. One of the most effective and simple ways to remember more of your dreams is to start writing them down. Sleep researchers have consistently found that people who begin keeping a dream journal notice a rapid improvement in their recall, often within just a few nights. The simple act of writing signals to your brain that this information is important, encouraging it to hold on to the dream memories for a little longer upon waking. The process also helps train your mind to be more aware of these fleeting states. Even if you only wake with a tiny fragment, a feeling, an image, or a single word, writing it down makes it more likely you will remember more the next night. Nighttime awakenings catch more dreams than morning recall. If you only try to remember your dreams when your final alarm goes off in the morning, you are likely missing most of the night's mental activity. Research where participants are gently woken up multiple times during the night shows a much higher rate of dream reporting. Many of these dreams come from lighter sleep stages and are often shorter, more logical, and less dramatic than the epic, surreal dreams of late-night REM. By morning, these earlier, more subtle dreams have faded, overwritten by subsequent sleep cycles. This is why people who are naturally light sleepers or who wake up often during the night tend to report more dreams. Most of our nightly activity simply evaporates the moment we transition back to full consciousness. Morning REM is especially rich in vivid dreams. Not all REM sleep is created equal. Your sleep cycles roughly every 90 minutes, but the composition of those cycles changes throughout the night. In the first half of the night, your body prioritizes deep, restorative sleep, and your REM periods are very short, perhaps only a few minutes. As the night progresses, these deep sleep stages shrink, and the REM stages get progressively longer. By the early morning, a single REM period can last for 40 minutes or more. This is when the brain is most active and when the most vivid, complex, and story-like dreams occur. This is why the last dream you have before waking is often the one you remember most clearly. REM rebound after deprivation brings intense, frequent dreams. The brain is very serious about getting its REM sleep. If you are deprived of it, either from a night of poor sleep or in a sleep lab, your brain keeps track of the deficit. The next time you are able to sleep properly, you will experience what is called REM rebound. The brain will try to make up for the lost time by entering REM sleep more quickly and having longer, denser, and more frequent REM periods. Dream reports from a rebound night are often described as being unusually vivid, intense, and sometimes overwhelming. This phenomenon shows that REM sleep is a critical biological need, not an optional luxury. The brain will compensate to get it. Antidepressants can change dream vividness and frequency. Many common antidepressant medications work by altering the brain's levels of serotonin and norepinephrine, two neurotransmitters that are also deeply involved in regulating sleep cycles. These medications can have a strong effect on REM sleep, often suppressing it or reducing its duration. As a result, people taking them often report significant changes in their dream life. Some notice their dreams become less frequent or less vivid. Others, conversely, report dreams that feel intensely strange or emotionally charged. For some, this REM suppression can be therapeutic, as it may reduce the frequency of distressing nightmares, which is why some are used to treat PTSD. It's a clear example of how our dream world is built upon our delicate brain chemistry. Nicotine patches can make dreams unusually vivid. A well-documented and curious side effect for many people using nicotine patches to quit smoking is a sudden onset of extremely vivid, bizarre, and memorable dreams. Nicotine is a stimulant, and it interacts with acetylcholine receptors in the brain. Acetylcholine is a key neurotransmitter for REM sleep and high brain activity. When the patch delivers a steady, low dose of nicotine throughout the night, it can turn up the volume on the brain's dream generation machinery. This leads to dreams that are intensely visual and often strange. Some users find them entertaining, while others find them unsettling. The effect typically fades after they stop using the patch, but it's a powerful example of how a single chemical can reshape our nightly reality. Alcohol suppresses early REM, then rebounds with heavy dreams. Alcohol is often used as a sleep aid because it can make you fall asleep faster, but it significantly disrupts the quality of your sleep. In the first half of the night, alcohol acts as a suppressant, particularly on REM sleep. The brain delays this critical dream stage. Then, as the alcohol is metabolized and wears off in the second half of the night, the brain rebounds, trying to catch up. This results in a surge of intense, vivid, and often fragmented or stressful dreams, usually in the early morning hours. This is why sleep after drinking can feel so unrestorative. You may have been unconscious, but your brain was struggling to balance sedation with its urgent, delayed need to dream. Cannabis can mute REM. Stopping can unleash vivid dreaming. Cannabis interacts with the body's endocannabinoid system, which plays a role in regulating sleep. Many regular users report that it suppresses dreaming, or at least their ability to recall dreams. Some report going long periods without remembering a single dream. However, when a regular user stops, they often experience a powerful REM rebound effect, similar to what happens after sleep deprivation or with alcohol. The brain, no longer suppressed, floods the night with REM sleep. This often results in a sudden return of extremely vivid, intense, and sometimes bizarre dreams, which can last for days or weeks as the brain readjusts. Beta blockers are notorious for strange dreams and nightmares. Beta blockers are a class of medication commonly prescribed for high blood pressure or heart conditions. They work by blocking the effects of adrenaline. A very common side effect reported by patients is a significant change in their dream life. Many describe an increase in unusually vivid, strange, or emotionally intense dreams, and sometimes a spike in nightmares. Scientists are not entirely sure why this happens, but it is believed to be related to the drug's influence on neurotransmitters that regulate REM sleep. It's another clear link showing how the chemical balance of our waking body can ripple directly into the stories our sleeping mind tells itself. Pregnancy often brings more vivid, emotionally rich dreams. During pregnancy, many people report a dramatic shift in their dream life. Dreams often become more intense, more memorable, and more emotionally charged. There are several reasons for this. Massive hormonal shifts, particularly in progesterone, can influence sleep patterns and brain activity. The profound physical and emotional changes of pregnancy also provide the brain with powerful new content to process. Dream themes often revolve around the baby, nurturing, water, or anxieties about childbirth and protection. Furthermore, sleep during pregnancy is often more fragmented, with more awakenings. These frequent awakenings make it much more likely that a person will wake up directly from a dream, thereby remembering it clearly. Fever can make dreams bizarre and intensely visual. When you have a fever, your dreams can take on a strange, surreal, and often unsettling quality. These fever dreams are famously bizarre, vivid, and emotionally intense. The elevated body temperature is thought to disrupt the brain's normal sleep-regulating processes. This can lead to unusual patterns of brain activity, causing dream imagery to become distorted, chaotic, or intensely visual. Dreamers often report strange, melting landscapes, distorted body sensations, or themes of anxiety and confusion. While they can be unpleasant, fever dreams are simply a reflection of the brain trying to operate under physiological stress, turning up the intensity and weirdness of its nightly activity. Sleep apnea fragments, REM, and alters dream recall. Sleep apnea is a serious condition where a person's breathing repeatedly stops and starts throughout the night, briefly starving the brain of oxygen. Each time this happens, the brain forces a micro-awakening to restart breathing. These constant interruptions shatter the natural architecture of sleep, especially the REM stage. As a result, many people with untreated apnea report that they don't dream anymore, simply because their brain is never able to stay in a stable REM state long enough to generate a complex narrative. Conversely, some report more dream recall, but the dreams are often short, anxious, or stressful, like being trapped or drowning, reflecting the body's physical struggle to breathe. Treating apnea can change dream patterns markedly. When a person with sleep apnea begins treatment, often with a CPAP machine, the change in their dream life can be immediate and dramatic. The machine provides continuous air pressure, which keeps the airway open and prevents the interruptions. This allows the brain, for the first time in potentially years, to enter long, deep, and stable periods of REM sleep. Many new CPAP users report a sudden, overwhelming flood of incredibly vivid and intense dreams. This is a powerful form of REM rebound, as the brain rushes to catch up on the dream time it has been missing. Over time, this intensity usually levels out as the brain returns to a normal, healthy sleep rhythm. Narcolepsy brings vivid dream intrusions at sleep onset. Narcolepsy is a neurological disorder that affects the brain's control over sleep-wake cycles. A key feature is that the boundary between waking and dreaming becomes incredibly thin and unstable. People with narcolepsy can enter REM sleep almost immediately, sometimes even from a waking state. This can cause vivid, dreamlike hallucinations to intrude as they are falling asleep. They might be partly aware of their real surroundings, but also see and hear dream elements, which can feel very real and frightening. These experiences are often paired with cataplexy, sudden muscle weakness, and sleep paralysis, as the brain's REM sleep mechanisms, dreaming and paralysis, activate at the wrong times. Cataplexy shows how emotion can trigger REM-like paralysis. Cataplexy is a defining symptom of narcolepsy. It is a sudden, temporary loss of muscle control, often triggered by strong, positive emotions like laughter, joy, or surprise. Researchers believe cataplexy is the intrusion of one specific part of REM sleep atonia, or muscle paralysis, into the waking state. In a healthy person, the brainstem paralyzes the body during REM sleep. In narcolepsy, a strong emotion can suddenly trigger this same off switch while the person is fully awake. The person's knees may buckle, or they may collapse, fully conscious but unable to move. It's a striking example of how the brain's mechanisms for dreaming and emotion are deeply intertwined. REM sleep behavior disorder plays dreams out in real life. This is the opposite of sleep paralysis. In REM sleep, the body is supposed to be still, but in REM sleep behavior disorder, RBD, this paralysis mechanism fails. As a result, people with RBD physically act out their dreams. They might be dreaming of fending off an attacker, and in real life they will be punching, kicking, or shouting in their sleep. They may even leap out of bed. The dreams are often intense and action-filled. This condition can be dangerous for both the sleeper and their bed partner. It is a vivid and sometimes frightening demonstration of what would happen if our dreams were not safely disconnected from our bodies. RBD is a strong early marker for synuclein diseases. REM sleep behavior disorder is more than just a disruptive sleep condition. Long-term studies have shown that it is a powerful early predictor of neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's disease and Lewy body dementia. A very high percentage of people diagnosed with RBD will go on to develop one of these conditions, sometimes 10 to 15 years later. These diseases are all linked to the buildup of an abnormal protein called alpha-synuclein in the brain. This protein buildup often begins in the brainstem, in the very areas that control REM sleep paralysis. This is why RBD can appear decades before the more well-known motor symptoms of Parkinson's, serving as a critical early warning sign. PTSD can pack sleep with recurring, emotionally loaded dreams. For individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder, the dream world often becomes a place of terror rather than rest. Dreams, particularly nightmares, are a core symptom. Instead of processing and softening emotional memories, the brain of a person with PTSD seems to get stuck, replaying the traumatic event over and over. These nightmares are often intensely realistic, emotionally overwhelming, and can feel like reliving the trauma. This prevents the normal function of REM sleep, which is to strip the emotion away from the memory. The nightmares can make sleep itself a source of anxiety, reinforcing the trauma instead of healing it. Nightmare therapies can reduce distress and improve sleep. The good news is that nightmares, even those from trauma, are treatable. Therapies like imagery rehearsal, therapy IRT are highly effective. People are taught to write down their recurring nightmare and then consciously rewrite a new, safer ending. By rehearsing this new version while awake, they can gradually retrain the brain, and the nightmare often lessens in intensity or fades away. Other techniques involve relaxation, mindfulness, and sometimes medications that suppress REM sleep. These approaches help restore a sense of safety, allowing the brain to resume its normal, restorative work during the night. Children dream differently. Children's dreams are not just miniature adult dreams. Their content and structure evolve as their brains develop. Very young children often report dreams that are more like static images or snapshots, rather than complex stories. Their dreams are also more likely to be filled with animals, monsters, or simple, magical themes, reflecting their developing imaginations. As children get older, their dreams become longer, more narrative, and begin to feature more complex social interactions and real-world concerns like school or family. The development of their dream life mirrors the development of their waking cognition. Adolescents report more intense and social dream themes. As children enter their teenage years, their dream life undergoes another significant shift. The simple, fantastical dreams of childhood are often replaced by scenarios that are much more complex and socially charged. Teenagers' dreams are frequently about their peers, school, romance, and conflicts, reflecting the intense social and identity-forming pressures of adolescence. The emotional content also ramps up, with more reports of embarrassment, anxiety, or excitement. This mirrors the rapid development of the brain's social and self-awareness networks. Dreams may be serving as a nightly rehearsal space for navigating the new, complex social world they find themselves in. Older adults recall fewer dreams, but not necessarily fewer REM. As people get older, they often report that they dream less. However, sleep lab studies suggest this is more a change in recall than in production. The total amount of REM sleep does not decline as dramatically as people's reports would suggest. The change is often due to memory. Older adults may have fewer awakenings directly from REM sleep, and the memory systems that capture those fleeting dream fragments may be less efficient upon waking. When older adults awaken from REM in a lab, they still report dreams. The contents also tends to shift, with fewer dreams about aggression or magical events and more dreams that are reflective, calm, or related to everyday life. Chronotype shifts dream timing and themes across the night. Whether you are a morning person, a lark, or a night owl, an evening person can influence your dream life. This natural rhythm, or chronotype, affects your sleep architecture. Morning larks tend to have their longest, most intense REM periods earlier in the night and closer to their wake-up time. Night owls, who go to bed and wake up later, tend to have their most memorable dreams packed into the late morning hours. Some research also suggests a difference in content. Night owls may report more creative or adventurous dreams, while morning larks recall calmer, more ordinary scenarios. Your internal body clock helps set the stage for your nightly dreams. Most REM clusters late in the night toward morning. Sleep is not a flat line. It cycles roughly every 90 minutes. In the first half of the night, your brain prioritizes deep, physically restorative sleep, NREM stage 3. NREM stage 3. REM periods are short, but as the night progresses, the architecture flips. Deep sleep decreases, and REM sleep periods get longer and longer. Your longest, most vivid, and most complex dreams almost always occur in the final 1 or 2 sleep cycles of the night, in the early morning hours just before you wake up. This is why cutting your sleep short, even by an hour, can disproportionately cut down on your dream time. Lucid dreams are more likely in late-night REM. This tendency for lucid dreams to happen in the early morning is directly related to the sleep cycle. Because the REM periods in the second half of the night are the longest and most intense, there is simply more dream time for awareness to emerge. Furthermore, the brain is naturally closer to a waking state in the morning, which may make it easier for that spark of self-reflection, "Wait, this is a dream," to ignite. This is why many lucid dreaming techniques involve waking up briefly in the middle of the night and then going back to sleep to deliberately target this REM-rich period. Reality checks by day can carry into dream awareness. This is one of the most popular techniques for learning to lucid dream. A reality check is a small, simple test you perform many times during your waking day to question your reality. You might try to push your finger through the palm of your other hand, or look at a line of text, look away, and look back to see if it changed. The goal is to make this action a deep, automatic habit. The theory is that you will eventually, by habit, perform this check inside a dream. In the dream world, the test will fail, your finger will pass through your palm, or the text will change. This anomaly is often the trigger that sparks lucidity. The MILD technique primes the mind to notice dreaming. MILD, which stands for Mnemonic Induction of Lucid Dreams, is a technique focused on intention. It was developed by sleep researcher Stephen LeBeige. The practice involves waking up briefly after a few hours of sleep. As you are falling back asleep, you first recall a dream you just had. Then you repeat a simple mantra in your mind, such as, "Next time I am dreaming, I will remember that I am dreaming." You visualize yourself back in the dream, but this time you notice you are dreaming. This combination of intention and memory rehearsal primes your mind to become self-aware during the next REM cycle. The WBTB technique catches REM surges and boosts lucidity. Wake, back, to bed. WBTB is one of the most effective methods for inducing lucid dreams. The strategy is to set an alarm to wake yourself up after about 4 to 6 hours of sleep. You then get out of bed and stay awake for a short period, perhaps 20 to 60 minutes. During this time, you might read about lucid dreaming or simply stay quietly alert. When you then go back to sleep, your brain, which is already primed for the long morning REM cycles, often plunges directly into a vivid dream. Because your mind is also slightly more alert from the brief awakening, the chances of becoming lucid are dramatically increased. The SSILD technique cycles senses to spark lucidity. A newer method is called senses-initiated lucid dreaming, or SSILD. This technique is a kind of mindfulness exercise you perform as you are falling asleep. You lie in bed and gently cycle your attention through your senses. First, you focus on what you can see, the darkness or patterns behind your closed eyelids. Then, you focus on what you can hear, the sound of a fan or the silence. Then, you focus on what you can feel, the weight of the blanket or your heartbeat. You repeat this gentle cycle, shifting your attention every few seconds. This process seems to prime the brain to be more aware of its sensory inputs, making it more likely you will notice the strange dreamlike sensations as you fall asleep and carry that awareness into the dream. Galantamine can dramatically raise lucid dream success rates. Galantamine is a substance, often derived from flowers, that is medically used as a memory-enhancing drug for conditions like Alzheimer's disease. It works by increasing the levels of acetylcholine in the brain, a neurotransmitter that is also crucial for REM sleep. Sleep researchers found that if a small dose is taken during a wake-back-to-bed period in the middle of the night, it can significantly increase the likelihood, vividness, and length of lucid dreams. In studies, it has more than doubled the success rate compared to using mental techniques alone. However, it is a potent substance and can have side effects, so it is not a casual tool. Once lucid, dream control gets much easier with practice. For beginners, the first lucid dream is often short. The sheer excitement of realizing I'm dreaming is often enough to destabilize the dream or wake you up immediately. Even if you stay in, control can be shaky. You might be able to fly, but you can't control wheres you fly. With practice, experienced lucid dreamers learn to stabilize the dream. They might do this by rubbing their hands together, spinning around, or focusing intently on a detail in the dream. These actions seem to ground their consciousness within the dream state. Over time, this allows for more reliable control, like summoning objects, changing the scene, or directing the narrative. Rehearsing skills in lucid dreams can feel strikingly real. When you practice a real-world skill in a lucid dream, the experience can be incredibly realistic. Athletes have reported running drills, and musicians have practiced complex pieces, all with vivid, lifelike sensory feedback. Brain scans support this. When a person dreams of practicing a motor skill, the brain's motor cortex activates in a way that is very similar to real, physical practice. Some research suggests this mental rehearsal can translate to improved performance when awake. The dream world is the ultimate simulator. You can practice a difficult conversation, a public speech, or a physical move with zero risk of real-world failure. Lucid dreamers can dampen nightmares from the inside. For people who suffer from recurring nightmares, lucid dreaming can be a powerful therapeutic tool. When a dreamer becomes aware that they are in the middle of a nightmare, they gain a unique form of control. They can choose to confront the frightening figure, use dream powers to protect themselves, or even just consciously change the scene to something pleasant. Often, the simple recognitions that this is not real is enough to immediately dissolve the fear. Studies have shown that training in lucid dreaming can lead to a significant reduction in nightmare frequency and distress. It gives the sleeper a tool to transform their fear from within. Heart rate and breathing track dream emotions subtly. Even though your body is still, your autonomic nervous system, which controls your heart rate, breathing, and other automatic functions, is still responding to the emotional content of your dream. Researchers monitoring sleeping subjects have found that these vital signs fluctuate in sync with dream emotions. A dream about a frightening chase can cause the heart to beat faster. A calm, peaceful dream can be accompanied by slow, steady breathing. In lucid dream studies, dreamers have even been able to deliberately control their breathing in the dream, and the change is reflected on the real-world medical monitors. It's a clear sign of how deeply the mind and body are connected, even in sleep. Pupillary signals shift during REM like waking emotion. When we are awake, our pupils don't just react to light, they also dilate in response to emotional arousal, surprise, or intense mental effort. Amazingly, this same effect happens during REM sleep. Even though the eyes are closed, researchers using special infrared cameras have observed that the sleeper's pupils still change size, and these changes correlate with dream content. When a dreamer reports an exciting or emotional dream, their pupils are often more dilated. When the dream is calm, they are more constricted. This suggests that dream emotions are not just imagined, they are triggering real physiological responses, just as they would in waking life. The hippocampus replays daytime routes during sleep. The hippocampus is a part of the brain that is absolutely essential for forming new memories and for spatial navigation. During sleep, it replays the patterns of neural activity that occurred during the day. In studies with rodents, scientists recorded neurons firing in the exact same sequence as when the animal was running a maze earlier, but at a much faster, compressed speed. Similar replay patterns are believed to occur in humans. This replay process is thought to be how memories are consolidated, transferred from the hippocampus's short-term storage to the cortex for long-term stability. This often happens during REM sleep, suggesting that the bizarre, journey-like quality of our dreams may be the conscious echo of this underlying neural replay. Sleeping rats rehearse mazes step by step. Some of the most compelling evidence for memory replay comes from rat laboratories. As rats learn to navigate a maze, scientists can record the activity of place cells in their hippocampus. Each cell fires when the rat is in a specific location in the maze. Later, when the rats are asleep, researchers observe the exact same sequence of cells firing, as if the rat's brain is running the maze over and over in its mind, but at super speed. Sometimes the replay even runs in reverse. This neural rehearsal is believed to be how the memory of the maze's layout is strengthened. By the next morning, the rats are measurably better at navigating the maze. Their brains practiced while they slept. Birds practiced their songs at night like lessons. This memory rehearsal isn't limited to mammals. Some species of songbirds also practice their skills in their sleep. Scientists recording the brains of young birds like zebra finches have found that the neural patterns they use to sing their complex songs are replayed during sleep. In some cases, the sleeping birds even make tiny, subtle movements in their vocal muscles, as if mutely rehearsing. This nightly practice is believed to be essential for them to learn and refine the songs they need for communication and mating. It's another example of sleep being a critical period for learning and memory consolidation across the animal kingdom. Octopuses show color-changing sleep that looks dreamlike. Octopuses also sleep, and during their active sleep phase they put on a remarkable show. Their skin, which is covered in color-changing cells called chromatophores, will flash and ripple with complex patterns and colors. Their bodies may twitch and their eyes dart around. Researchers believe this state is analogous to REM sleep in mammals. Some scientists have hypothesized that these color changes are a visual replay of the octopus's daytime experiences, like hunting or hiding, as if we are literally watching them dream. While we can never ask an octopus what it's experiencing, this visible display suggests that complex, dreamlike states may have evolved in creatures very different from us. Some reptiles display REM-like sleep cycles too. For a long time, it was thought that REM sleep and dreaming were exclusive to mammals and birds. But recent, more sensitive studies on reptiles, such as the bearded dragon, have revealed something surprising. These lizards exhibit sleep cycles that alternate between a quiet state and an active REM-like state. During this active phase, their brains show high-frequency electrical activity and their eyes move beneath their closed lids, just like in mammals. Whether they are dreaming in the narrative way we do is impossible to know. But the presence of this biological state suggests that the evolutionary roots of REM sleep, and therefore possibly dreaming, are much more ancient than we once believed. Newborns spend a huge share of sleep in REM. Newborn human infants sleep for the majority of the day, sometimes 16 hours or more. What is most striking is that they spend about half of that time in REM sleep. This is a far greater proportion than in adults, who typically spend only about 20% of their sleep in REM. Scientists believe this massive amount of REM sleep is essential for rapid brain development. The brain of a newborn is busy wiring itself, forming trillions of new connections. The intense, internally generated activity of REM sleep may act as a kind of stimulation, helping to build and strengthen these neural networks long before the baby is able to get much input from the outside world. Human fetuses show REM-like activity before birth. This process appears to start even before the baby is born. Ultrasound studies of fetuses in the third trimester show that they also experience distinct sleep cycles, including an active, REM-like state with rapid eye movements. Their eyes can be seen shifting beneath their lids, and their brains show bursts of activity. Researchers theorize that this fetal REM state is crucial for jump-starting brain development. Because the fetus has very limited sensory input, the brain practices by generating its own internal signals. It is, in a sense, rehearsing the act of perception, building the circuits it will need to see and hear the world long before it has ever opened its eyes. Dogs twitch as dream commands leak past paralysis. Anyone who has lived with a dog has seen them, the twitches, the muffled yips, and the running paws during sleep. This is a visible sign that they are likely dreaming. Just like in humans, dogs experience REM sleep with muscle paralysis. But also like humans, this paralysis is not perfect. Small motor commands from the dreaming brain can leak past the block in the brainstem. While we see just a twitching paw, the dog's brain is likely sending the full run command as it dreams of chasing something. These movements offer a charming visible window into the active inner world of another species. Elephants sleep little and have sparse REM. Most mammals require a significant amount of REM sleep, but elephants are a major exception. In the wild, they may sleep for only 2 to 4 hours a night, often while standing up. They enter REM sleep very rarely, perhaps only every few days, and usually only when they are lying down. This presents a puzzle, as elephants are known for their profound intelligence and long-term memory, two things often linked to REM. This challenges the idea that a large amount of REM is essential for complex brains. Elephants may have evolved a different, more efficient way to consolidate memories, or they may do it during their NREM sleep. Their unique sleep patterns remind us that there is no single right way for a brain to rest. Dolphins sleep one hemisphere at a time, which makes dreaming tricky. Dolphins face a unique challenge. They are air-breathing mammals that live in the water. If they went into full sleep like humans, they would drown. Their solution is unihemispheric sleep. They shut down only one half of their brain at a time, while the other half stays awake and alert, allowing them to keep swimming, surface for air, and watch for predators. This poses a mystery for dreaming. True REM sleep involves full brain activity and muscle paralysis, both of which would be dangerous for a dolphin. Studies suggest they have either very little REM or a modified version of it. They may have evolved to dream less or in a way we simply don't understand yet, the paradoxical sleep. Name reflects an active, sleeping brain. REM sleep is often called paradoxical sleep because it is a state of profound contradictions. If you looked at a person in REM, their body would be completely limp and still paralyzed. They would appear to be in the deepest possible sleep. But if you were to look at their brain activity on an EEG, it would look almost identical to the active, high-frequency patterns of someone who is fully awake and alert. This is the paradox: a body that is fast asleep and a brain that is wide awake. This discovery in the 1950s was revolutionary. It showed that sleep is not just a passive turning off of the mind, but an active, dynamic state where the brain is busy, alive with emotion and imagery. REM atonia is built by brainstem and spinal circuits. The muscle paralysis of REM sleep, known as REM atonia, is a critical safety mechanism. Scientists have pinpointed the off switch to a set of circuits in the brainstem and spinal cord. During REM sleep, these circuits actively send powerful inhibitory signals down the spine, which silence the motor neurons. This effectively disconnects the brain's motor cortex from the body's muscles. We know this works because in experiments where these circuits are disabled in animals, they begin to physically act out their dreams. And in the human disorder RBD, a failure of this system causes the same thing. The amygdala runs hot while executive control rests. The amygdala is a small, almond-shaped structure deep in the brain, and it is our primary center for processing emotion, especially fear and threat. During REM sleep, the amygdala becomes highly active, often even more so than during waking life. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the CEO of the brain, responsible for logic and self-control, becomes much quieter. This combination likely explains the character of our dreams: highly emotional, intense, and often illogical. The brain may be using this state to reprocess emotional memories, stripping them of their sting by replaying them in a context where the logical brain can't interfere. The prefrontal cortex quiets, metacognition drops, and we are less lucid. The prefrontal cortex is the part of our brain responsible for high-level thought, planning, decision-making, and self-awareness, also called metacognition, or thinking about thinking. During most dreams, this region is deactivated. This is why we are not lucid. We lack the self-awareness to step back and realize that the bizarre events of the dream are not real. We accept flying, talking animals, and sudden scene changes without question. In the rare event of a lucid dream, it is believed that this part of the brain partially wakes up within the dream. Suddenly, the dreamer regains that self-awareness and can say, "This is a dream." Theta rhythms help bind scenes into a dream narrative. During REM sleep, the brain shows strong, slow electrical waves known as theta rhythms. These same brain waves are also present when we are awake, but specifically when we are deeply focused or successfully retrieving a memory. In dreams, theta rhythms are thought to be the glue that helps the brain link together all the different fragmented pieces of memory, emotion, and imagination into a single, flowing story. Without these rhythms, dreams might just be a chaotic jumble of disconnected images. Theta waves seem to provide the thread that weaves these fragments into a coherent, albeit strange, narrative. Slow waves gate, which outside cues get woven in. Even in deep NREM sleep, the brain is still listening. The deep, slow brain waves of this stage act like a gatekeeper. During the upstate or peak of the wave, the brain is more receptive to external sounds. During the downstate or trough, it is more closed off. Experiments have shown that if you play a sound during the receptive phase, it is much more likely to be incorporated into a dream. If you play it during the quiet phase, it is likely to be ignored. This shows the brain is actively protecting sleep, but still checking in on the outside world. Smells nudge dream mood without appearing, us as smells. As mentioned before, our sense of smell is unique. In experiments where a pleasant or unpleasant smell is released in a sleeper's room, it changes the emotional tone of their dream. A pleasant smell leads to more positive dreams. A bad smell leads to more negative dreams. But the fascinating part is that the dreamers almost never report dreaming about the smell itself. They don't dream of roses or rotten eggs. The smell seems to bypass the story, part of the brain, and communicate directly with the emotional centers, shifting the dream's underlying mood without ever becoming part of the plot. A gentle tap can appear as a door knock. Just like sounds and smells, our sense of touch can also be woven into our dreams. A light, physical tap on a sleeper's skin during REM sleep often does not wake them up. Instead, the dreaming brain will instantly invent a narrative explanation for the sensation. A tap on the shoulder might become someone knocking on a door in the dream. A light pressure on the arm might become the feeling of someone grabbing it. This again shows the brain's incredible power as a storyteller. It takes any signal, internal or external, and immediately finds a way to fit it into the ongoing plot to maintain the coherence of the dream world. An alarm often morphs into a phone ringing in the dream. This is one of the most common examples of dream incorporation. Many people have had the experience of their morning alarm clock going off, but instead of waking up, the sound gets woven into their dream. The alarm's beep might become a ringing telephone, a fire alarm, or a doorbell in the dream. The dreamer will often try to answer the phone in the dream to make the sound stop. This is the brain's final, desperate attempt to protect the sleep state. It tries to explain the intrusive sound as part of the narrative before the sound becomes too persistent and forces the transition to wakefulness. Learning before bed makes related dreams more likely. If you spend an evening intensely studying for an exam or practicing a new skill, like playing a musical instrument, you are very likely to dream about it. Researchers have found that this isn't just an anecdote. People who practice a task before sleep often report dreams that contain fragments of that activity. And what's more, those who report dreaming about the task often show greater improvement in that skill the next day. The brain appears to use the sleep state to continue processing and consolidating what it has just learned, and our dreams are the conscious reflection of that work. The Tetris effect spills game patterns straight into dreams. This is a famous example of pre-sleep activity shaping dreams. When people play a repetitive, visual game like Tetris for many hours, they often report seeing the falling blocks or patterns in their dreams. This phenomenon is not limited to Tetris. People who have been skiing all day dream of the slopes. People learning to code dream of lines of text. What's most fascinating is that this even happens to amnesiacs. Patients with severe memory loss who have no conscious memory of playing the game still report dreaming of the falling blocks, showing that this replay is a deep, unconscious memory process. Dreaming can boost creative problem solving by morning. Some of history's greatest aha moments have famously been attributed to dreams. The chemist who discovered the ring structure of benzene from a dream of a snake biting its tail is a classic example. Studies have backed this up. People who are given a complex problem and then allowed to sleep and dream are significantly more likely to find a creative solution than those who stay awake. Dreams seem to do this by loosening our associations. They connect ideas and memories that our logical waking brain would never put together. This remixing of knowledge allows us to wake up with a fresh perspective. Targeted memory reactivation strengthens chosen memories overnight. This is the process mentioned earlier. Scientists can tag a new memory with a specific cue, like a sound or a smell. If that same cue is then gently reintroduced while the person is in deep sleep, the brain will reactivate and strengthen that specific memory without disturbing sleep. This has been shown to improve recall for everything from vocabulary words to motor skills. It's a powerful demonstration that sleep is not just a passive state, but an active learning period that can be gently guided. Targeted dream incubation can steer hypnagogic themes. A recent and fascinating development is targeted dream incubation. Using a wearable device, researchers can detect when a person is entering the hypnagogic state, the gateway to sleep. At that moment, the device can play a soft audio cue, like a single word, tree. The dreamer is then prompted to report the dream fragments they experience. The study found that the cue was successfully incorporated into their dreams. The tree prompt led to dreams of forests, roots, or climbing. This shows that we may be able to gently guide the contents of our dreams to boost creativity on a specific topic. Brain-computer links have captured dream answers in real time. This is the two-way communication fact from earlier. In groundbreaking studies, lucid dreamers were able to signal to researchers from within their dream. They were asked simple yes or no questions or basic math problems. By moving their eyes in a prearranged pattern which the researchers could measure, the dreamers were able to provide the correct answers in real time while fully asleep and dreaming. This shatters the idea of dreams as a totally sealed-off world. It proves that a channel of communication can be opened between the dream state and waking reality. People rarely write or read text cleanly in dreams. A very common experience in dreams is the instability of the written word. If you try to read a sign or a book in a dream, the letters will often appear blurry, jumbled, or will change completely every time you look away and look back. This is believed to be because the parts of the brain responsible for detailed, logical language processing are less active during REM sleep. The brain is excellent at generating visuals and emotions, but it struggles to maintain the stable, symbolic logic of text. For this reason, trying to read text twice is one of the most reliable reality checks for lucid dreamers. Mirrors and faces often warp, self-models get unstable. Similar to text, faces and reflections are notoriously unstable in dreams. Many dreamers report looking into a mirror only to see a distorted, blurry, or completely different face looking back. The faces of other dream characters can also morph or blend together. This is likely because our sense of self and our ability to recognize distinct faces are complex, high-level processes that are also dampened during REM sleep. The brain is building the dream from memory fragments, but it struggles to maintain a stable, consistent model of a face or even our own identity. Out-of-body sensations can arise from REM intrusions. The out-of-body experience, OBE, is a sensation of floating above one's own body, often looking down on it. These uncanny experiences are very often linked to sleep states, particularly sleep paralysis. When the brain wakes up but the body is still paralyzed, the mind can get confused. The brain's vestibular and parietal systems, which create our body map and tell us where we are in space, can glitch. This mismatch, being awake but receiving no sensory feedback from a paralyzed body, can produce the powerful illusion of being separate from your physical form. Sleep inertia blurs memory of dreams within minutes. Most of us have had the experience of waking from a vivid, powerful dream, only to have it completely evaporate just moments later. This is due to sleep inertia. This is the groggy transitional state right after waking, where the brain is still rebooting its waking systems. During this time, our short-term memory is extremely fragile. The delicate, unstable memories of a dream are the first things to go. Even a 30-second delay in trying to save the dream memory can be enough for it to be lost forever. This is why dream journals are so effective. They force you to capture the memory before it fades. A consistent wait time increases dream recall reliability. One of the simplest and most effective ways to remember more dreams is to go to bed and, most importantly, wake up at the same time every day. When your sleep schedule is stable, your body's internal clock, circadian rhythm, becomes more predictable. This leads to more robust and regular REM cycles, which cluster near your natural wake-up time. If you wake up at the same time every morning, you are more likely to wake up during or just after one of these long, vivid REM periods, making the dream much easier to catch and remember. Sharing dreams with partners can increase closeness. Talking about your dreams can be a surprisingly intimate act. Dreams are often vulnerable, emotional, and strange, reflecting our deep-seated fears, desires, and anxieties. Studies have suggested that couples who regularly share and discuss their dreams with each other often report feeling a greater sense of closeness and empathy. It opens up a channel for communication about topics that might not come up in everyday conversation. It provides a window into a partner's inner emotional world, fostering understanding and connection. Most dream characters are familiar. Strangers are rarer than we think. It might feel like your dreams are full of random strangers. But research on dream content suggests this is not the case. The vast majority of characters in our dreams are people we actually know, family, friends, and colleagues. Even when a character seems to be a stranger, they are often a composite of several people we know, or a forgotten face we may have seen in passing. The brain appears to be a recycler, drawing from its vast database of real-life encounters to populate our dream worlds. This supports the social simulation theory that dreams are a way of processing our real-world relationships. Even with all this, dreaming still keeps its best secrets. Despite all this incredible research, the central mystery of dreaming remains. We know how it happens. The brain chemistry, the electrical waves, the stages of sleep. We have many strong theories about why it happens, for memory, for emotion, for creativity, for threat rehearsal, but the ultimate, definitive purpose is still debated. Dreams resist a single, simple explanation. They remind us that the human mind is still the greatest mystery of all. As you float into sleep this evening, you will step into that hidden world once more, guided by your own unconscious mind. And with that, we come to the close of our quiet exploration of 100 facts about dreaming. From the first fleeting images at the edge of sleep to the profound recurring echoes of our lives, we have wandered through the landscapes our minds construct when the waking world falls silent. Dreaming is, and remains, one of the most compelling puzzles in all of science. We can measure the electrical rhythms, track the movement of the eyes, and even guess at the content with artificial intelligence. But the essence of the dream, the unique, personal, and shifting narrative that visits you each night, that remains your exclusive domain. As you settle into your own rest tonight, you may feel the fragments of your day begin to merge with the boundless canvas of your imagination. You might fly, you might explore, you might see familiar people in impossible places. However they appear, your dreams are a private world opening its doors just for you. Thank you for floating along with me on this journey. Sweet dreams, and until our next exploration, good night.